So I want to thank everybody for coming to our third town hall meeting for the Department of Corrections. As we've stated in past meetings, we get a lot of public comment. We post that comment on our website. We try and turn it around within a couple of days. And really those comments provide us with guidance for our directives, policies, and otherwise. One of the things we've tried to do is bring in a particular component of the department to educate the public on what we do, and so that's why this agenda is set that way. If you have recommendations for an agenda for our next meeting, which I think is in September, we'd love to know what that is, and we can bring that information to the meeting and have somebody talk about it and be direct about what it is the department is doing. So Wilhelmina is going to talk about the community high school this time, which has been a topic of conversation with the legislature and the public around what we're doing with the direction and how it affects the department. So I'm going to turn it over to Monica Weber, who is going to walk us through the logistics, and then I'll ask Wilhelmina to come up, and Monica will then take some public comment and we'll close it. So without any more, I'll turn it over to Monica.
Okay, great, thanks. I like to go through this every time we have a meeting since there are new people here. This is a public meeting, and there are people all across the state at different VIT locations. And we want to give everybody an opportunity to speak. I'm not sure what the attendance is like today, but once Wilhelmina is finished with her presentation, we'll open it up to public comments. We will rotate around the state alphabetically according to the sites that we have listed for Vermont Interactive Technology right now. If you have signed in and you'd like to speak, please indicate that on the sign-in sheet at your site, or you can talk to the tech at your site. And once we get to your location, you'll have a few minutes. I do want to say a few minutes, just maybe 2 or 3 minutes to make a comment. I will keep track of how long that is. We're not going to respond to comments at this meeting. As the Commissioner said, we take those comments and then we respond in writing, and we put those responses on our website. So I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. If there's something in particular that you came for, a personal case or a personal question, there usually are Department of Corrections staff at your location, so you can talk to that person individually about your specific question. So in general, that's the way we're going to move, and I will now turn it over to Wilhelmina Picard, who is the superintendent of the Community High School of Vermont, and she's going to give an update on what's been going on with the high school. Do you want to sit here, or do you care?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I don't care. I can see. I've got my glasses on. Good afternoon, everyone. As Monica stated, my name is Wilhelmina Picard, and I have a rather interesting job for the Department of Corrections. Not only am I the superintendent of the community high school, but I also oversee Vermont Correctional Industries, and I will soon be overseeing the Vermont offender programs. We are consolidating and condensing our programs and intertwining them so that we have a solid foundation for folks as they are transitioning from wherever they are into the communities. So today I'm primarily going to talk to you about the community high school, and I will probably intersperse some Vermont Correctional Industries language with it, so bear with me. In November, we were part of a study done by the Joint Fiscal Office in Montpelier. And it was an opportunity for us and for folks from the Finance Office to take a look at our programs and compare them to other nationwide programs, educational programs. And the interesting thing is that we are an enigma, an amoeba, or something. We are different than any of the other programs that are offered throughout the country. We offer a full range of courses, and we are an accredited and a certified school program. Our legislators and tax-paying folks of Vermont were very smart when they put into law that people that did not have an education, that were under the care and custody of the Commissioner of the Department of Corrections, would attend high school and would obtain a high school diploma. That's not a GED, that is a high school diploma. So that is what we push everyone, regardless of their age, toward. We also offer ongoing and continuing courses for those folks who want to continue to work towards better workplace skills, want to work towards an industry certification, or simply want to improve their mind and continue to go forward. As a result of the Pew study, we came upon some information that was very interesting to us and really made us stand up and take notice. And at that point in November, we started to look at our programs and what we were doing and why we were doing it. And my administrative team and I came to the conclusion that we could do a better job with a little bit less than what we were allocated. So we put together a plan, and with the Commissioner's permission, we moved forward with a plan. And I'd like to share bits and pieces of that today and talk you through the Community High School of Vermont. So we have a motto, living, learning, and working, and those are the three aspects of everyone's life that are truly important and that we all need to be successful in. We have a mission for the entire Corrections Education Department, and that is to, you can read it for yourselves, but basically to help people strive to be good citizens and to continue throughout their lives to learn more skills and to be able to move their lives forward. Part of what we envisioned for this new corrections education program is a seamless selection of opportunities and courses. So we start with the academics, and we work with folks to enhance their academic skills so that they can take themselves wherever they want to go. We also looked at the vocational education components of what a high school diploma requires, and provide those opportunities in a number of different formats. We talk with our students about the social aspects of having the social aspects of life and different choices that they can make. And we are particularly strong in presenting a program called the Habits of Mind. And those are the 16 habits that people need to lead successful lives. They also happen to be the 16 habits that you need to be successful in business or in employment. So for those of you that have youngsters that are still in school or that remember when you were in school, and they taught either behavioral concepts or social skills. Basically, we're teaching social skills. I was talking with Monica earlier, and Emily Post, we are not, but we are working on skills. We're working with all folks on managing anxiety and impulsivity. We're working with them on thinking about how it is that they process and think about what goes on in the world around them. We're working with them and talking with them specifically about how do you act interdependently with somebody, and how do you process? And, you know, when we were in school, we used to call it cooperative learning. Well, that's what we're doing with these folks. We're really working on helping them to obtain the acceptable social skills and knowledge that they're going to need to move forward. Then the next part of this is job skills, and we do a lot of different job skills training programs. We do a lot of vocational technical education, and it's all leading up to the opportunity to have employment. And for those that are in the facilities and incarcerated, we have a number of different employment opportunities, and we are expanding those, and we are actually systematizing those so that folks can go through this continuum and actually have practice at a real-life job situation. So, you know, we've got from A to Z, and that's really what we're looking at. What we're trying to make sure is that everything connects, and that the folks that are participating in our programs understand how they connect, and they can connect their lives to it so that they can see that everything is systematic. I talked earlier about the reorganization, and it's a response to several things. We need to reprioritize our services based on the needs of our students. What we found in our programs that we were offering and in our courses is that in some cases we were offering programs that only one or two people were participating in. And that's difficult to do when, you know, the needs of one or two are overshadowing the needs of 1,700. So we really started to take a look at that. We looked at the courses that we were offering, especially in the technical field, that didn't offer industry certification. You know, it's really important for folks coming out of facilities or off probation to have a skill set and to have training that they can take to the community and that says ASC, or it says Advanced Welding Certificate, or it says ServSafe. It doesn't say Prison Industry Certification. It's a national certification, and it's a certification that they can take with them into the community, and it's one more piece that will help them in terms of repairing their lives, repairing their families' lives, and really starting to step up and you know, do what they need to do. We also needed to take a look at the broader picture, and that was in terms of looking at what the Agency of Human Services was offering and the Agency of Education was offering. You know, the Agency of Education has a wonderful adult program out there, and we were able to do a comparison and see that we were actually offering duplicate services. So in an effort to work collaboratively, we had a conversation, and we now have an agreement with the Agency of Education, and we are servicing students that are under the Commissioner's care and custody, and those that are not are being filtered to, it's called Vermont Learning Works, or Adult Basic Ed, and those folks. And we are working with the agency to make sure that that happens. We had long conversations within the agency about reach-up programs and about a number of other programs that are offered through the agency, so that we're making sure we weren't duplicating services or competing for the same folks. So that was, you know, really necessary. Internally, the department had an audit by, I don't think I have that right. Is it NIC? Yes, I apologize. The National Institute of Corrections. And the outcome and the recommendation was that internally we needed to separate our populations, the detained and the sentenced populations, and offer them programs, but they could not be commingled when it came to receiving services. So we are still looking at that. That has to do with the security needs of the department and the facilities. And my teachers are working really diligently to figure out how we're best going to meet the needs of the department as well as meet the needs of our students. So that's another competing factor. And then the last response that we needed to do a better job at is helping our students to transition from the facilities into the communities. And in terms of educational services and supporting their ongoing needs as far as not necessarily job placement, but just support in the job market, and make sure that we're not, again, not duplicating services. But oftentimes we find we have older students who, for whatever reason, haven't completed their high school diploma, are released from jail, go into the community, and really want to continue to go to school and need to continue to go to school, but they also need to continue to work. So we are going to be offering them a different kind of support as they transition from the facilities into the fields, and hopefully we'll make those connections stronger. That might mean that they participate in school at our street campuses a couple mornings a week or 5 mornings a week, or it may mean that we coordinate their learning with adult basic ed, or we may put them on in an independent program where they go to work with an employer and are actually earning high school credit. So we're trying to meet the needs of each individual as they are transitioning to help them be successful, because our main goal is to reduce recidivism and to help these folks not to come back. As much as we enjoy them, we really don't want them to come back to us again. So the changes for the community high school portion of the corrections education have three different pieces. There are the internal structure of our school is changing, and that can be seen in the structure of the administrative team. We have reduced our administrative team by one, and have disseminated the job responsibilities to 3 folks, as well as asked 2 teachers to take on some additional responsibilities. The community high school and Vermont Correctional Industries, and eventually the Vermont Offender Work Program, the administrators for those programs will all be working together as an administrative team, and they will be cross-trained, and they will be supportive of each other in the programs, because again, we're going for continuity and we're going for consistency. I talked a little bit about, I didn't talk a little bit about, but our external structures are changing. Our street campuses are going to have a defined open time rather than being open 12 hours a day. We're going to have a defined period of time. We're going to be working with the probation officers to outline what folks' weeks look like, how are they spending their time, where are they going to best be educated, what is going to look best for them. We are making some changes in terms of staffing and job assignments, and we've been working since January with our internal staff, with our teaching staff, to identify the needs of our students, the needs of our campuses, the needs of our staff, and the needs of our school. And then, in order to produce a better product, so to speak, the services to our students are going to be much more specific and much more intentional. Each of our students currently has an individualized graduation plan, and that is unique to that individual. We take a look at their transcripts from the schools that they were in previously, and if they didn't have transcripts, we take a look at their life experiences. We put together a plan, and we have criteria for graduation, much like the public schools. And we take a look at what they need to graduate. We talk with them about what their life goals are. We talk with them about what they think they may or may not be interested in terms of whether it be higher education or some type of a vocational technical training. And we try to work to that student's specific needs. We're different than the traditional high school in that in a traditional high school you have students from typically ages 14 to 18. And our students are 18 to, I think our oldest is 69 right now. So we have, we're an adult high school. And we are really taking a look at, you know, what is it that the adults need to be successful. So why the changes? And it's pretty simple. We had to respond to data. We have a number of youngsters that are in corrections now that need different services than some of our older students do. The enrollment in our street campuses has been it fluctuates. We've had some campuses that, you know, have classes of 15 or 20. We have other campuses that have, you know, 2 in a class. So we've really had to take a look at the feasibility of our street campuses And the statute currently says that we must have a school at each of the campuses, and there's no determiners of how many students we have to have at each campus. We have to have an open campus, and we have to offer a series of basic classes. So that is what we are doing at this point. But we are looking at each campus individually to determine the staffing and the hours of operation. We also had to look at the costs associated with each of those campuses again, the duplication of services. And it's also, the change is a response to changes within corrections and, the restructuring of the facilities. Our casework plans are changing and have changed. They're now based on criminogenic needs. And those are, I think, 7 to 9 areas of identified needs that people really need to work on. So if someone comes to us and they're assessed and they're scored as having a high need area of education, then they need to come and work with us. That's where we're going to be focusing on. And there are other areas that I can't speak to. I always know about what's important to me. And it's not that everything else isn't important, it's just that that's the area that I'm responsible for. And then, again, we talked about students needing to have more structure in terms of transitioning into the community. So the question is, what are we going to be doing? We're going to be providing educational services to incarcerated individuals and to individuals who are transitioning back into their communities, as well as the students that we have at our campuses already. We're going to respond to the individual risk factors with evidence-based best practices, and one of the things that we know about education is that it is evidence-based and it is best practice for our students to get a high school education. We're going to continue to work on our programs, and Community High School of Vermont we spend a lot of time reflecting on what it is that we do well and what it is that we're not doing well enough, and we make adjustments as we go along. And we're also going to be collaborating and sharing resources both within the department and with other agencies to enhance our student experiences and basically to be economically sound in our decision making. This speaks a little bit about the the transitional education services. And I've already talked about that. It's just a way to, to help folks out as they transition into the community. And let me give you an example. Oftentimes we'll have people that get out of jail, get out of the facilities, and want to go to an area vocational high school, which they are entitled to. If they don't have a high school diploma, they're entitled to that. And it takes an awful lot of courage to go and just simply register to go to school. And it takes even more courage sometimes for folks to go to the first class or the second class. And it's something that simple that often deters folks from following through. So one way that one of our educational instructors, our transitional instructors, might work with someone like in that case would be either help them make the phone call, to go to the first meeting and register, just as a support person, as a friend, and to help them, to make the step over the threshold, so to speak. It might be that they go to class with this person for the first few days. It's a way to help them transition and to overcome some of the fears or some of the unknowns. And I know that sounds simple, but sometimes that's all it takes. So those are the types of things that we're going to try to look at, and we're going to really try to work. And again, I've given you a very simple case, but that's the direction that we're going. We're also working on a defined evidence-based employment readiness program. This is really embedded, and it's sort of the bridge between the community high school and Vermont correctional industries and the Vermont offender work programs. We are putting together a system of graduated jobs and job skills with job descriptions, with expectations, with pay scales, and with evaluations. And it's meant to sort of marry everything. That's what we're saying. It's going to pull all of these pieces together. So it sort of goes along with, if you're going to talk the talk, you have to walk the walk. So we all get up every day. We have responsibilities, we have jobs, we have job requirements, we have job performance expectations, we get evaluations, we get paid based on those things. So that's what folks are going to be seeing. So it will become much more systematic. This is just an additional piece and a little bit more information. We're going to be taking a look at patterns of behavior, which again, we implement habits of mind as part of how we respond to the patterns of behavior. We're going to learn and practice positive workplace skills. Those are demonstrated by our work foremen and our teachers as well. Part of our job expectation is that we're going to model for our students and for our workers what we expect from them. And it may look very different, but that's what the expectation is. We're going to have, we're not going to have, we already have, but we're going to increase the number of employers that we invite to come and speak with our students and do actual job interviews and job fairs. Have employers come in and talk about the skills, and especially the interpersonal skills that they're looking for with our students, and to help them make that connection so that when they are released from the facilities, or they're done with their programming and they're ready to go to do a job interview, it's not a first-time experience. They know what to expect. They know the types of questions. They've talked with employers, and not just in the interview situation. They've talked with employers, and it's been explained to them. Occasionally, I want someone that comes in and can greet the customer, that can offer good customer service, that can show up on time, and make sure that they're responsible, and then we'll teach you the other skills, versus someone who comes in and has skills but can't follow through on the customer service, forgets to go to work. So those are the types of things that we're going to be working on. We're really taking a look at our rigor in terms of the courses that we offer through the high school. We, as I said, are moving everything to industry certification in terms of technical skill. And we're doing more and more with assessments, interest inventories and assessments, to help people understand that there are different choices and a lot of different broad opportunities for different professions, ones that perhaps they haven't thought about before. So our students, or our workers, are going to gain from this new structure more support when they reintegrate into the community, and intentional support in their local communities. They're going to gain support in transitions, and we're going to offer them time to get acclimated to the new learning and working situation, and help bridge that gap between the days and weeks that they first get out and when they're actually employed. And we're also going to help to expand the opportunities for them to be with their peers. Being in adult programs, finding adult opportunities for them to reintegrate back into the communities is really important. The we being the taxpayers and the department and all of those folks, we're going to gain students and folks who are well-trained, who are educated, who have a different skill set than when they came to us. We are going to gain the ability to integrate many more of our programs, and I've given an example. The community high school in VCI has several integrated programs right now where we do training. One of those examples is we have a furniture shop at Northern State in Newport. that makes custom furniture. And in order to be able to build that custom furniture, we were using a program called AutoCAD. And that's an older, dated version of something that it's two-dimensional. For those of you that are technically astute, I can only talk this because I've been taught it, by the way. And we have a new program that actually is a 3D, and it's called SolidWorks, and it's what the industry is using right now. And we actually have a high school class that is located in the furniture shop, and there are 6 students who are learning the intricacies of SolidWorks from an instructor. And they learn the computer program. They can do everything from design the furniture to weight test it to actually see what it looks like in 3D. And when they graduate and finish the program, they transition to an internship. It's right in the same room, actually. And they become part of the furniture industry program itself, and they do an internship with SolidWorks and help to design furniture. And from there, they go into the actual industry and become full-time employees. We have had 2 young men in the last 6 months who have earned their national certification in SolidWorks, which is it's a pretty big deal, and who, upon release, were both employed by furniture manufacturers and are earning more than a livable wage and are doing very well. So this was a prototype, it was a pilot, and it is something that we are continuing to look at. We have several more programs that we have designed and dreaming about and hoping to move forward with, but that's the direction that we're headed, into true integration. We also gain the sharing of professional knowledge between our staff members. We have an expanded educational force in working in the VCI foreman, working with our academic instructors. They have a lot to offer each other, and we have a lot to offer our students. So many of our students who were going to traditional high school classes, some of them are now earning credit by working in the wood shop, and they have curriculum and they have instruction, and our teachers are actually going into the shops to work with the foremen to determine their skills and the progress that they've made. We have expanded learning opportunities. We have a sharing of resources and technology, and we also have a much firmer sense of ownership on our students. So for us, it's a win-win situation. That's a misplaced slide.
All right, that's fine. And we're at the end.
So there have been a lot of changes for community high school in the last few months, and there will continue to be changes. But I think the opportunity to really take a look at what it is that we do, the services that we provide, the needs of the communities, the needs of the taxpayers, and our ultimate goal of reducing recidivism, we're taking some pretty strong steps, to move forward. We are reducing our staff by 2, I believe, and some of those staff are being shared in other places, but those staff positions have been reduced through attrition. We have had a number of retirements, but we also have a number of hirings. So we have the opportunity to hire folks with different skill sets, which is rather exciting. I've spent a lot of time in the legislature in the last 6 months, talking and educating the legislatures as to the expanded programs, the expanded roles, how we fit into the Department of Corrections. We've spent a lot of time talking with the management, the superintendents, and field managers about case plans and how education fits in. So we're making every effort and attempt to bring everything full circle and have it be an integrated process.
Great. You all set?
I'm all set.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
So Wilhelmina needs to leave, so we're going to let her go. But if people do have questions related to her presentation, you can certainly post them during the public comment section, and I will write them down, and she has promised that she will happily answer any of those questions, so I want you to feel free to ask any if they come to mind. What we're going to do now is go from location to location and listen to people's comments and questions. As a reminder, we're not going to respond to the questions today. I'm going to write them down. We'll post them on our website. And also remind you that we have asked you to keep your comments short, just a few minutes. If you are going on a little longer, I may try to ever so kindly interrupt you and move you along. So just be aware. Right, and I mentioned earlier, but it's worth saying again, if you have a personal case or something that you wanted to discuss, if you would please discuss that with the Department of Corrections staff person at your site. We've asked them to attend so that you can not have to share personal information about a case over the Vermont Interactive Technologies airwaves, so to speak, so we can protect your confidentiality and any other case confidentiality that you might have. So with that and all those reminders now in place, I think we'll go around, as we said, alphabetically. So the first site on my agenda here is Bennington. So if we have some comments in Bennington, I would invite, we'll take two at a time and we'll just keep going around until we're done. So if there's anyone in Bennington, please feel free to start your comments.
This is the technician in Bennington. We have no testifiers at this time.
You have no testifiers. All right, well, we can come back if people decide to change their minds. So we'll just move back to Brattleboro.
This is the technician in Brattleboro, and we have no testifiers at this time.
Okay. Lyndonville?
I don't think so.
This is the tech in Lindenville, and we have no participants who wish to testify.
Okay. Middlebury?
This is the technician in Middlebury, and we have no participants here.
Oh, okay. Montpelier?
Hi. Montpelier.
Hello?
Hello?
We have some people in Montpelier who would like to speak.
Hey. Hi.
I can't see you yet, but I'm sure we
Can't
will.
see me yet?
No, but that's all right.
We could, what we
You
do
need
the
to talk a
mystery
little
test.
bit more. Oh, there you go.
Like, what's
Oh,
my
and I
line?
forgot to mention, I can
Guess who
see
I
you now.
am.
Please say who you are. Yeah,
I am Dave Bellini. How are you?
fine.
Monica and Andy, thank you for posting data about temporary hires. I went onto the public webpage in the FY14 budget presentation that you posted, and I see that it's there. So that's been my issue. So I wanted to comment on it. You've got 166 hires of temporaries in 09, 193 in FY10, 217 in FY11, and 259 in FY12. And that's on page 42. I know you got that internet thing that you used the last time of the 14 budget presentation. So just a couple of comments. One, it's that's all temps in corrections, but then it's bracketed and it says those are mostly CO1 hires. So I guess I have more of a question. Is we have about, what, 70 temporary CO1s allotted to the DOC, approximately? So if we have 70 positions allotted, and of that 70, we're hiring between 150 and 250, to fill 70 positions. I was trying to get I'm not a mathematician. I was just wondering what the turnover rate would be for CO1s, temporary CO1s. It's posted as 19% for permanent CO1s. That's on another. That's in the Department of Human Resources annual workforce report that they post every year. I've been asking for them to post temporary, since all of our COs start out as temporaries. I don't know if you want to respond today, but I was wondering if you guys could do some analysis about this. If we're hiring over 200 people for 70 slots, that would be a lot. And this is defined as turnover of DOC employees leaving state service. This is not people that are getting promoted. So it's something to look at. And I was wondering, maybe you understand, you heard the whole speech before. I was wondering,
Dave,
maybe
is that your question? I'm sorry, your time is up. So is that the question you wanted us to do, an analysis of the data that you were and come back with more information?
Well, yeah, you've posted it, but a full analysis of not just, okay, what is the actual percentage, which would be good, but also, is there a workforce plan in place to address this and to say, look,
okay, so I got your question then. Okay, thanks. Thank you. Was there another person in Montpelier?
Yes. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can.
Okay, I was just wondering, I have a loved one in department that's being held. He was only supposed to be there for 10 days. And his probation officer has not been responding to his caseworker or his lawyer or anybody else. And I was wondering if you guys could look into this.
So,
ma'am,
email. I think if there's a person at the department who is representing us at Montpelier, you can.
I don't know if there is or not.
Specifically to that person.
Okay, I'll speak to him.
Yeah, if you could do that. We just are trying not to get into case-specific questions here, as I said earlier.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Just to protect people's privacy. So.
Okay.
But if you had a different question or comment in general, I think
my other question is if your minimum is up, as my loved one is, you can't work at the facility, because he already has a high school diploma, you can't go to school either. So what are they supposed to do in there? Twiddle their thumbs? Because that's pretty much what they do. Okay. And that policy should be changed, is my opinion.
Great. Thank you for that comment. We appreciate that. Okay, so I'm looking at my super secret thing here. So we have somebody in Newport now.
I'm Sandy Snyder, and one of the things I found whenever I had hired some people that then went on and got into some trouble was that they came and they wanted to work and they got a little money and they went and ate the Twinkies and got more sweet drinks and whatnot. So by the time they came back the next day, they were not as good people to have working for me. I believe strongly that while the empathy that you are giving your people with the mental health problems is critical, the way to stabilize in the long run is with correct nutrition that does not allow the body to do such dramatic shifts in polarity. And that needs to be addressed. What did you have for breakfast? Working with individuals to understand which kinds of foods actually enhance them. And I won't go into it beyond that. I will give the people here some information but I wanted to call attention to the critical nature of nutrition in how people are able to function.
Great, thank you very much. I appreciate that comment. Was there anyone else in Newport who had a comment they wanted to make? Looks like we just had one there, so we can go to Rutland.
Good afternoon. This is Keith Talon, District Manager of the Probation Office here in Rutland. I just have an announcement to make. This is a historic day in the city of Rutland and for the Department of Corrections. We've just successfully opened a 10-bed residential program for women, and we have the first 5 women who are at the house residing there today. This is a cooperative effort between the Department of Corrections and the Vermont Achievement Center in Rutland, and this is an intensive, rigorous program of length of 6 to 12 months, and we're very excited, and so I just wanted to bring that forward to you.
Thank you, Keith. Is there anyone else there who wanted to make a comment in Rutland?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. I know we have someone in Springfield then. If you're in Springfield and you want to just start talking, we'll be able to see you.
Hi, I'm Will Hunter. I had a couple of questions about some things that had been brought up at prior meetings and indications that things were going to be happening, and I wondered about what's happened with the detainee proposals that would emerge through the legislative session. The session's now over, and I'm curious about what's happened with that. There was some discussion about a template for people who wanted to testify that was going to be on the website. I haven't been able to find that, but perhaps it's somewhere that I couldn't find it. I had asked at prior meetings about more real-time data and was told after the last meeting that you were in the process of updating the website and more information would be put up. And again, if it's up there, I don't know where. And the same thing with the questions about how programs are performing and the results for offenders who participate. There's a lot of talk about evidence-based practices, and it would be helpful when there is discussion about something being evidence-based if there could be some citation to the evidence that supports the program. I think that it isn't very helpful just to say this is evidence-based and best practice. I had a specific question about policy with regard to furloughees who violate a condition like no alcohol. And I won't talk about any specifics, but in some regions, I know that when there are violations of things like that, the sanction is going to participate on a work crew. I don't believe in Springfield that there is a work crew, so the sanction ends up being going back to jail or going to jail. And for some people, that may result in loss of a job or loss of housing, and it's not really clear how long people go for when they go back. And the last point is I attended with my son last week a creative performance at a jail that was quite inspiring. It happened to be a jail in New Hampshire, and it made me wonder when was the last creative performance open to members of the public that took place in any facility in Vermont. And I'd be interested to know about that. It'd be the sort of information that, if it's happening, would be great to have on the website so the public's aware of it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Was there anyone else in Springfield who had a comment? I just had the one person. I think we could go back to Montpelier. From what I understand, there were 4 people who wanted to make a comment. We only heard from 2, so if there are a few more people there, we can hear you now.
Okay. So I think we're the final 2 then.
Oh, I didn't come.
Can you hear me if I speak?
No,
Hi.
sorry. I forgot. Yes, hi.
I'm Kim Brittenham. I'm a Montpelier resident, and I've lived in Vermont for about 25 years. I'm here predominantly because I have been concerned about the way we in Vermont incarcerate women, incarcerate young women, predominantly for reasons of poverty or being undereducated. And I'm being concerned about the impact that incarceration has on the lives of women who are frequently heads of households when they're incarcerated, and on their families. So I came just to say that publicly. I did make a film with my sister a couple years ago called Little House in the Big House, and there are a couple of segments in there about that feature the education system, habits of mind, and also a graduation. But it really tells the stories of 4 women in the modular home building program. And so since you were talking about education today, I am concerned about women having equal access to vocational training and to some of the certification programs that are being offered. I know when the women move to a facility like Chittenden, when they don't have the same opportunities that they had at the State Farm Prison, that they don't have those opportunities. The other comment I would make is that I work now with a disability rights organization, the Vermont Center for Independent Living, and I work on accessibility, access to programs and services and buildings, and I want to make sure that the education programs that are happening are accessible to people with disabilities. Because I'm also aware that people that are incarcerated in Vermont, men or women, have a disproportionate amount of disability, that people with traumatic brain injury, learning disabilities, mental health conditions, PTSD are in corrections, and in order for them to have equal access to education programs, they need accommodations. So that's something that I do in my work at VCIL. But also I'm aware that we are a part of the state plan for independent living, and one of the objectives this year is to work closer with corrections, and that is a new objective for this bill.
Great. Thank you very much for your comment. Wait, did you time yourself? Did I hear you say that?
Yeah.
Was there someone else? Yeah. Was there someone else in Montpelier? Yes. Hi.
Yes. Hi, my name is Julie Brisson, and I live in St. Johnsbury. I work here in Montpelier, and I was a guest of the state at Northwest Correctional Facility for about 6 months. I had to do a 38-day sentence. I didn't complete my community work crew for a bad check charge and got caught in the system of trying to get approved housing. So I've had the experience of being incarcerated, and I've also done some offender reentry work and been on a COSA. I have 2 quick questions for you. At one time, the Department of Labor had disability navigators who worked with reentering and reentered offenders, and the Vermont Association of Business, Industry, and Rehabilitation had offender reentry specialists, but my understanding is that all of these positions have been eliminated. So I'm wondering what employment services are available in the communities to reentering offenders. Voc Rehab does offer services, but you need a qualifying disability, and a criminal record is a disability. But I'm just curious what agencies might be handling employment, or if there are positions within the Department of Corrections now that are handling that. And regarding the women that are being housed at Chittenden now, what specific programs are available through the Vermont, through VCI for them? I know the modular home program that Kim did her film on has ceased to exist, but I would just like to know what specific programs are available to them through Vermont Correction Industries. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. I didn't ask if there was anyone in Williston who wanted to comment. I don't have anyone signed up, but if someone here did want to make a comment, it's an opportunity for that. Okay. Seeing none, we'll move along. I didn't know if anyone had, through hearing other people, decided that they wanted to make another comment. So if there's someone who hasn't spoken already who would like to make a comment, if you just want to move to your microphone and we can start to hear you. Otherwise, we'll close up. The commissioner has a few moments, or as long as he would like to make some final comments to the group, we can go there.
So I want to thank everybody for coming. We have a list of questions, and one of the things that we committed to when we started this process is we would have answers posted on our website or other information that correlates to these answers within a couple of weeks, and we'll abide by that. We will try and have all of these things answered by
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
June 1st. And so, and if there's any follow-up questions, you can email.
You can email me. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it's on. If you.
I didn't want to throw you under the
No, it's fine. My name is all over the website, but I'll give you my email address right now in case you don't have access, and I'll give you my phone number. But it's monica.weber, WEEBER, @state.vt.us, or you can call me at 951-5057.
And so if there's anything that we miss, if we misinterpret a question or whatnot, we'd like to know that. Monica and I will sit down over the next couple of days and go through these item by item and try and answer these. One point of information that I wanted to bring up is something that Will Hunter said in Springfield. Detention has been a particularly hard issue for the Department of Corrections to resolve over the last handful of years. The Corrections Oversight Committee did pass legislation that it will be their focus throughout the summer and through the fall, in coordination with the Council of State Governments, the Department of Corrections, and the courts, to try and come up with some proposals. I would encourage you, if it's an issue that you're interested in, to make an appearance at the Corrections Oversight Committee, or at least to query them that you'd like to testify, so that maybe we can put some form around it. They are looking for solutions, ideas, anything that you have. And so this work will unfold over the next 6 or 8 months and be introduced into legislation in the 2014 legislative session. So we'll leave it at that. And if you have any suggestions for agenda items for September or December, our next 2 meetings, email those to Monica, and we'll do our best to put together a presentation to try and continue the conversation. So with that, I'll say thank you guys for coming, and we'll see you in September, I guess.
Great. Thanks.